This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Friday, October 15th, 2021, and it's the Relevant Podcast. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Austin, Texas, author, podcaster, scuba diver, flood survivor, Jamie Ivey.
Hey, guys.
And sitting in today, once again, Derek Miner is missing our recording. He is on vacation with his wife celebrating her birthday, and we support that fully. So we will miss him. But sitting in for Derek this week is our very own senior editor from Nashville, Tennessee, Tyler Huckabee. Hey, Tyler.
Howdy.
We have a great show coming up. Needtobreathe is joining us. They have a great new album. You're going to hear about it and all this stuff. But when I saw Needtobreathe on the rundown, I thought, flood victims. They need to breathe.
Oh,
my gosh.
Jamie, what's happening?
A deep turn.
Oh, no.
No, I was telling you guys
got dark and real quick.
Before we started that it's been a crazy morning because we've had flash flood here in Austin area last night, and we're safe. Everyone's fine at my house, but it's very dangerous. But at my house, there's one way in and one way out of my neighborhood, and it goes over this little creek. And every time this happens, Aaron and I are like, it is 2021. Why do we not have a bridge into our sweet little neighborhood? And so it floods. I sent you guys a picture of it, and you can't get in, you can't get out. So it was like a little neighborhood party this morning. I went down there at 6:30, and all the old men are there with their coffee cups. We're like standing around looking at the water like, what do y'all think?
You sent us a video and you said, hey, man, sorry, I'm running a little late. We got flooding issues. I was picturing a couple inches of water in the basement, and we got to move. We got to unplug the refrigerator down there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want anything shorting out. Like, that's what I was picturing. What you sent us appears to be a raging whitewater rapid going over like a road. I was expecting...
That's my road.
I was expecting listen, I really need to get these gutters cleaned because, the mailman can't get up to the doorstep to drop in, or the Amazon guy's going to have trouble today. No. Yeah, this is legit flood.
Everything's bigger in Texas. So.
Everything's bigger in Texas, and it is a legit flood. I mean, again, I want to keep everything in perspective. We're fine. There's no water in our house. Everything's fine. It's just getting in and out of our neighborhood can be kind of hard. But also these flash floods in Texas are super dangerous to people. And so I'm also really just having a little perspective shift that my morning was inconvenienced because the bus wouldn't come pick up my kids. So I had to take them to school, but other people are really having hard things with it. But I'm here. I made it through the water.
So this road that goes into your neighborhood, you said you drive through a creek. Like the road does not have an elevation over the water?
It is a road, but if we get any kind of flash flood, it goes over it. I mean, it went, from the bottom, from the bottom of the creek. A couple weeks ago, this happened again, and I think someone said it was 9 feet up from the bottom of the creek. I mean, it was completely disaster.
Oh, wow.
And it has happened before where we've gotten stuck outside of the house, and the kids have been in the house. Does that make sense? Out of the neighborhood, and the kids are in.
Have you thought about investing in a Humvee or some sort of military vehicle that can go underwater?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Has the snorkel, like those Range Rovers that have the snorkel.
I know.
Or a duck boat, a Boston-style duck boat.
Duck boat,
I've been on the Boston duck boat, yes.
Yeah, where you could just drive. It goes from water to sea effortlessly and kind of comically because of its duck-like features.
Okay, I think you're onto something, Jesse. She's got an Airstream already on her property. I think the duck boat is the next thing to add to the collection because you just leave it at the house. And so even, if the kids are stranded there, the kids can drive it to get out, and come pick up you guys. So
I could have made a couple bucks this morning too, getting people across. I mean,
you could ferry.
You could ferry them. And duck boat. And you could do, you could even take it down creek with a little and get the little PA system and just do a little tour. Just do a little tour. Over here, we have another flooded intersection. And look, there's some guys with coffee over there. Let's keep your hands inside the duck boat, everyone. You have waivers. You got a waiver system.
I mean, I could get my kids working. This could be my son could quit Chick-fil-A if this takes off. I mean, this is what we're going to do.
You got the upfront capital of buying the actual duck boat. But once you acquire it, I mean, you're golden. This is great.
before we get too deep into this, I know we got a
Yeah.
lot to get to today, but can I ask a really quick question from you guys? I've been
Yeah.
thinking about this a lot.
Please
I
do.
was over the weekend. I went to my first concert, like post-pandemic concert, right, in a while,
Okay.
and it was emo night here in Nashville, down at the Basement East in Nashville, and they had two
Okay.
bands from my like high school days that were playing, and it was like $10. So I went
Please
down
tell
there.
me who. Please
And
tell
it
me
was,
who.
and Jesse, you're gonna know both of these bands. It was the opener was the Juliana Theory. All right.
Oh,
They're the
dude,
opener.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, they opened. Yeah, and then the main event, Jesse. I think these guys are friends of yours, if I remember correctly. Is May.
Yeah,
remember
I
May
grew up with those
They're from
guys,
your
yeah.
they're from your part of town, right?
That's right.
And,
Yeah, Virginia
and
Beach
so
is
I saw them, and I really want to impress upon you guys how different these two acts were, and this is where my question comes into play. Juliana Theory comes out, and these were bands that were big when I was in like middle school and high school.
Yeah.
So Juliana Theory was very aware of it, and they made some jokes about their age and all of that, and I appreciate the sense of humor they had, but they were dressed. You've seen those photos of Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox going around where they look kind of like goth vampires. They looked like that. They walked out of like Hot Topic Luxe brand and like these like very like extremely slim fitting pleather, maybe leather suits and lots of makeup, and the hair was long. They still looked like an older rock band, but they still looked like a rock band. And they played their show, and it was, we had a good time. It was great. And then May came out, and Jesse, maybe you can tell me if this is their normal vibe, but they looked like they just walked out of the sales bin at Kohl's. They looked like it was like they forgot there was a show, like, oh, that's tonight. Oh, we gotta go, and like jumped off the couch from watching football. They were not like, and I'm saying I like May. I'm fans of May. I enjoyed the show, but it was barely. It looked like they were kind of doing like May karaoke almost, because they didn't look in any way like a band, especially given what had come before. And I'm wondering if you guys were, and maybe that's the braver move. Maybe that's the one. Maybe they're the ones who are like, you know what, this isn't really our gig anymore. We all have day jobs, but whatever. These nerds want to see some music that was popular 20 years ago. We can deliver on that front, and that's almost a power move. And so I've been wrestling with who was really owning the moment a little more that night since that time.
I have deep old personal experience with both of these artists, and I can tell you May has always had their flag firmly planted in dad rock. Like, I feel like May is just like a great example. It's very technical, like they like if you They have like the same dad rock vibes as like a Bon Iver or like a Radiohead, in that they're very technical in their musicianship. Like, here's how I'd put it, right? If you're looking at how you define like old school, self-aware, just fun rock and roll, like Juliana Theory. Like, I used to see Juliana Theory all the time. They used to play Richmond a lot near me when I was in high school. We used to drive up there to go see them because Richmond has a lot of good like punk rock clubs. And they would act like they're in a scene from that Freddie Mercury movie, and they're about to play Wimbledon in 1970, even though it's a group of 24 kids that drove up from a church in Virginia Beach to go watch them. They were spinning guitars around the neck. They were self-aware and fun, right? But it was not like, they were solving a math problem with music, which is how May is. Okay. Like, that's if you go that technical, you're going to just wear whatever, because it's not about the clothes, not about the performance. It's about letting weird, like people, like I said, dad rockers just kind of try to analyze the music at the same time. It's music for people who have taken up hobbies like carpentry. Okay. Juliana Theory is just there for the good time. Okay. They're just leaning in, they're going to dress like crazy people because why not? That's my take.
I think that lined up with, and I think that maybe ideally there'd be some sort of like middle ground, because watching people solve a math problem live isn't the most stimulating rock and roll experience. But I was a huge fan and remain a huge fan of Everglow. Like, that'll be my jam to the grave. But it was a striking discrepancy between the two acts. It felt like I'd gone to two different shows in two different eras of music.
It's almost like at ACL last weekend. The main acts on Friday night, one stage was George Strait, the other was Miley Cyrus. And so you have these completely different people watching two different shows. But you guys, y'all know I don't know all these music people you guys talk about. Like I never know who you're talking about. I need to speak up real quick because I now know who Machine Gun Kelly is because I also saw him at ACL and he is sad and angry and has a lot of emotions built up inside of him is what I came out of that concert feeling.
Well, if you had to jump from genre to genre in a desperate plea for credibility, you'd be sad and angry too.
Yeah, he started out as a rapper and then he went rock and then now he has a beef with the rock bands and
didn't even know who he was. I recognized one song that I've heard on the radio and everything else. I was just like, he is so sad. Like he is angry and sad. There's such a mom vibe there. Like this guy needs a hug.
This young man. Yeah.
He's so angsty.
He needs to watch his mouth too while he's at it. I mean, there are children in the audience.
Okay, speaking of something not sad and angry, I want to circle back real quick to the flood convo and your boat acquisition and the possibility of a boat acquisition.
I knew this was going to happen because you were going to say something and then Tyler was like, hey guys, before we move on, I have a question. And Jesse visibly deflated. And he was like, I
have something.
I had more.
Tyler's like, I have a topic that is relevant and of deep interest to our core audience. Allow me to discuss. And now I'm like, no, I got a boat. I got a boat thing. I got a boat thing we got to talk. So longtime listeners know that both Cameron and I both have been long fascinated with dangerous boat toys. Boat toys that push the limit of safety and are about 3 steps ahead of federal regulators who determine what toys Uncle Sam says are just too fun and dangerous for the citizenry to have because
the epitome being that tube, the floatable that you pull behind your family boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was shaped like a kite and it would go up in the air. So the kids would be laying on it, holding on to the handles, and it would fly up in the air behind the boat, go
dangerous.
10, 20 feet in the air.
Exactly.
It was in Sky Mall. And I was like, oh, I am destined to own this. But it was $600. And so I never bought it, right? But I'm like, that is going to be my ultimate, I've made it win. I own that, right? A month later, it comes out that it's been banned because too many people were flying off of it and dying. And I was like, that's what makes it fun. Is the actual fear.
Yeah, you need a little risk.
I could die. I'm willing. This is going to be so fun. I'm willing to risk my life for the thrill. And I've been disappointed ever since because I feel like boat toy technology, it just threw a damper on the whole thing. Okay. It's like we've just gone back to floating tubes being gently pulled behind, about 6 inches awake. Nothing wrong. Fun way to spend a Saturday afternoon if you're 8. If you're 8 years old,
or if you're an NBA player and you like banana boats, and you and your best friends can just be pulled behind the boat in a little banana boat tube.
The stakes are very clear. It's minimal fun for minimal risk. And I feel like the boat toy industry kind of plateaued after that. I can see why they're just disappointed. I saw a clip on Instagram, and I'm about to drop it in the chat here. And I feel like it's a new evolution in boat toy because somehow they were able to put a couple vices into one toy. One being extremely wildly dangerous multi-person pull behind boat toys, and for some reason the thrill of an evening in Las Vegas. I'm going to drop it in the chat right now. I want you guys to open
curious.
I can't wait.
And
I can't wait.
I'm a Shark Tank watcher. I've never seen this on the show.
Oh wow!
But you tell me you see innovations like this and you don't have hope for the world. You don't say look, the world's got a lot of problems right now. I'm not going to argue with that. But the human mind came up with a great new boat toy. It's a new level of innovation. I'm not even going to describe it. I'm going to let one of you guys. You got to
describe it. It's like a roulette table.
Yeah.
It
looks like a roulette table. Yeah.
It's a 10, 15 foot wide inflatable disc.
Yeah, there's
circle.
like 6 adults on this.
Yeah, people are all around the edges of it, and it's in the water. And once you start pulling it, it goes to an angle, like a 45-degree angle, and spins like a roulette table. So you're being pulled behind the boat, and you're spinning in a circle like a merry-go-round.
And it's very big.
That's amazing.
Like you're high off the water.
Yeah, you're getting up there 15 feet up.
Yeah, you're falling a long ways.
And not only that, the other thing in this demonstration video, people are violently falling off the entire time. Like, there's a guy, I want you to see the guy who some people are able to take it pretty well. There's one guy who's trying to hold on and goes head over heels in a very uncomfortable way. Towards the end of the video, up on the zero, the guy on the Black Zero.
Yes.
Watch Black Zero. Watch what happened to that poor guy. I mean, at bare minimum, he tweaked a knee there. At the bare minimum.
Are you advocating that they pull this behind the rescue duck boat?
Oh, that's right.
That's precisely because.
So it's fun. It's fun. We bring a little fun to the
everybody. I know you're stranded.
Everyone's
It's
having a bad
flooded.
time.
We're picking you up. We're trying to rescue you. But hey, if you want to have a little fun on the journey, we got this behind the boat for you.
Speaking of really
I like
fast,
it.
while I'm looking at this video, I know this is a visual slice, so people just have to imagine it. Look at the boat itself. There's like 30 people on this boat. Look, do you see that? This is like Noah's Ark. I think they are picking people up.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, that is an
Nothing about this
overcrowded
is
boat.
safe.
Oh, I didn't even notice. And they don't look like they're in
No, they're just
swimwear. They look like they
standing.
have jackets on.
I think this is a rescue operation, and the people were stranded, and they started loading them on, and like, we're out of room on the boat, but good news. Tim brought his giant inflatable roulette wheel on back. So if you can hang on for dear life for about 20 minutes, we'll get y'all out of here.
The other thing, as people are violently flying off and become rag dolls in the air, they don't appear to be slowing down to help them. Like they're just shedding people off the tube, and they're just blasting through this
Nobody
canyon.
stops until the last person gets off.
Yeah.
I just, as a person who has owned a boat for so long, but no longer do because I let it sink, they're doing it right. You don't go back and pander to the pansy who can't hold on.
Wow.
His punishment is you're going to wait till the rest of us are done having fun and we'll come back and get you. So I'm down with that part of it. But
Hold on. Did you say let it sink?
it sank.
you sank your boat?
I no longer have a boat because it sank. Yes.
On purpose?
Where did it sink?
On my dock, at my dock. So I went through a sabbatical a couple years ago and kind of just sat in the house. Didn't really have friends over. Just had a lot of solo time. You know what I'm saying? Didn't take the boat out for about 6 months. Well, Florida, it rains. Okay. Florida, it rains. And we had a particularly rainy few weeks. And my boat was uncovered just out there.
Oh, no.
And I didn't know it because I didn't go out there. It was slowly filling with water. Okay. So I'm on the phone one day and I happen to be looking out and I see the nose of my boat straight up in the air. And I go running out there and it had breached and it sank and it went boom, 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 boom. And it was on the bottom of the lake. So,
And did you get it out?
yeah, me and all the neighbors took us 6 hours. We were in the lake under the water, prying it up with ladders and everything we could to get it above the water so we can pump it out. And but then it's done. I mean, all the electrical's fried, the engine's fried. It's done. It was so. Then a rescue person the next day came and towed it away and sold it for parts. It's gone. Very sad.
I'm so sad.
I've broken many friends' ribs on that boat when they were tubing, and I have a lot of memories. Yeah, but no longer.
May
Like
she
I
rest
said,
in peace.
It's why like Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson go to almost space. It's the thrill of knowing. It's the thrill. Look, 90-year-old William Shatner, a man in his 90s, just went.
Yeah.
It seems pretty safe to me. He seems just fine about the whole ordeal. But you got to have a little danger in your life. You got to mix it up a little, and every once in a while say, you know what? I know this might result in a neck injury or a separated shoulder, but how many times in life do you get to ride a roulette wheel flying across the surface of a water and skip
behind
like
a duck
rock?
boat, behind a duck boat, rescuing people from floods. I mean, this is like you only live once.
In my neighborhood. I mean, I'm on it. Yeah.
Go all in. I like it. Go big or go home. That's what I say. All right. Well, stay tuned. Up next, it's going to be relevant news.
I just wanna taste. I just wanna taste. I just wanna taste. I just wanna taste. I just wanna dance, baby. I just wanna cry lately. I saw a face from across the room. I was looking at me.
You're listening to Coin. The song is Chapstick Well, today's episode is brought to you by the Chris Tomlin and United Tour. Just announced today, the co-headline Tomlin United Tour is the most anticipated tour of 2022. It's the first time ever that these two worship artists have shared the same stage. With 33 dates across the U.S., Chris Tomlin and United are inviting fans to experience live and in person the songs that have shaped the modern generation of worship. You can sign up now to be a part of an exclusive pre-sale at tomlinunited.com. By signing up, you can get your tickets first and earn points for prizes like a trip to the Los Angeles tour stop with VIP treatment or free tickets to the concert closest to you. Go to tomlinunited.com now to sign up for the pre-sale. TOMLIN United.com. Awesome. This will be good. Okay, it's time for
Relevant News.
Normally, this is where we bring on Tyler Huckabee to tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture, but he's already here. We should have brought on Emily.
Yeah, I should have brought on next time.
Well, we'll have her on the next podcast. Let's do that.
Yeah. We'll bring her on soon.
All right, what's going on this week?
So this was an interesting story that sort of throws a lot of. I feel like it's a counter narrative in a few directions for people's ideas of certain public people, and it involves Katie Couric, the longtime host of the Today Show, of course, and the late Ruth Bader Ginsberg, who was on the Supreme Court for a very long time. Now, in 2016, there was this interview that Couric had with Ginsberg, and she asked her at the time, which was a very big deal at the time, you remember, about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the national anthem and how she felt about all of that. And Ginsberg was very, very critical of Kaepernick and anybody who was protesting the anthem at that time. She said that she called it dumb and disrespectful. She said that people who kneel during the anthem are showing contempt. These are her words. Contempt for a government that has made it possible for their parents and grandparents to live a decent life, which they probably could not have lived in the places where they came from. She went on to say, as they become older, they realize that this was youthful folly. That's why education is so important. Now, this was obviously...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
she's literally calling him uneducated.
Uneducated, would not be able to do this where he came from, where it was definitely the implication there. You know, this is very... And this really goes against, as you're probably aware, Bader Ginsberg had and still has a really big following among sort of the, we'll call them like the populist liberal crowd, who are both very supportive of her and generally quite supportive of Colin Kaepernick at the time as well. So this really... kind of graded against the narrative, the mythology that was building for her in the later years of her life.
Was this said on the Today Show? Was this because I missed this at the time? I don't watch the Today Show.
Well, so hang on. That's where we're getting to this. So Couric writes in her new memoir about this experience, saying she was very surprised. She said this was unbecoming of a champion of equality like her. She said she was a huge fan of RBG, which is the nickname that people have for her. And the next day, the following day, the head of public affairs for the Supreme Court emailed Couric saying Ginsberg had, quote, misspoken and asked for the comments to be struck from the record. Couric says she felt torn about the request. She said that she reached out to her friend, David Brooks, a conservative columnist at the New York Times. She said that maybe Ginsberg misunderstood, at her age, sort of misunderstood the question, didn't maybe have all the facts. In any case, she decided to largely agree with the request and struck most of those comments from the final interview, which is why you haven't heard about it till now. She left in a few of Ginsberg's sort of like critiques of it, but took out obviously the far more incendiary comments about Kaepernick, about being uneducated and where they came from, and is only now opening up about this in her memoir after Ginsberg's death. So really, really interesting, and I think very unethical behavior from Katie Couric, who is a journalist, is somebody I've largely thought had her head on really straight.
Journalistic ethics is all over the news this week with the Adam Schefter, with the NFL emails too.
Yeah.
You know about that, where like the 15 years of emails, the NFL has been investigating the Washington football team. They've gone through hundreds of thousands of emails, and all of a sudden they find these terrible ones from John Gruden. He ends up getting, he resigns, like huge fallout. But buried in there was 10 years ago was the top NFL reporter for ESPN, Adam Schefter, was doing a report that about the lockout and things like that, sent the entire article to the head of the football team and said, hey, check this out, see if there's anything you want to change, and called him Mr. Editor and said he could change the quotes and information to make him whatever he wanted to say, and he would run it. And he's like this top journalist.
It's very, very strange behavior.
What are people doing?
Well, the thing with Ruth Bader Ginsberg is, First off, let me preface by saying I don't agree with her stance on Colin Kaepernick. Like, I think it was a perfectly fine and needed expression of what he was trying to intend, which was bring to light issues of racial injustice, right? So let me just preface by that I don't agree with her stance on it. But for there are two. If you type in her name into Netflix right now, two movies come up with her on the cover, which are very flattering. One's a movie about immigration. There's another one called RGB, which is basically like a puff piece documentary. It is what it is, right? She is I'm not being partisan by defining her this. I feel like a liberal icon. I don't think people on either sides of the aisle would argue with that depiction of her. But shielding, at the time she did this interview, she was an active Supreme Court justice. Like, if anyone, if there's any humans on the planet that the American people have the right to understand their thoughts about, political and social issues, especially ones as it pertains to free speech and social justice, it's Supreme Court justices. So not only is it did Katie Couric do a profound disservice to the American people, she also did a profound disservice to the Supreme Court justice, because, it's like when it's the equivalent of saying, hey, the founding fathers were just all great people. We just need to ignore the slavery thing and just take it out of history. Like, we just need to not talk about how, the founding fathers, the architects of democracy also owned slaves. We just need to ignore that because it disrupts the narrative. No, you do a disservice to history by doing that. And what Katie Couric did, by the way, her book makes people. It's career suicide, because basically she's bad mouthing half the people she ever worked with.
It's a scorched earth campaign.
Yeah, it's a money grab to make people, including herself, look terrible. But this is a profound disservice, not just unethical, but she betrayed the trust that her audience had in her by trying to whitewash someone who turns out to be a very complicated figure. It's know what I mean? Like, it really irritates me as someone.
I remember over the years with us, just with magazine features and stuff, there have been a few people over the years that have been like, we want to see the article before it runs.
It happens a lot, actually. It's not an unusual request, and we don't do it.
And we 100% say no. No, like, you said what you said. I mean, this is no.
I didn't understand that whole principle until a couple of years ago. I was the feature woman in an Austin Woman magazine, and then this summer when the Washington Post did that article on our family.
Yeah, of course.
I think I even told you this, Tyler, when I was talking to you about it. I asked both those people, because here I am, I'm like nervous Nancy. Like, what are they going to put? Like, how are they going to represent me and all these things? And I asked, can I see it beforehand? And they both said no. And they said, no one will ever do that. And I'm like, oh, wow. But can I tell you how nice the lady at the Washington Post was to me? And if I'm not supposed to say this, we can take this out. Yeah, but if this will get her in trouble, please take it out. But she was so kind to me because she saw how nervous I was. She said, I'll go over every quote that I have you saying. And that was so kind to me.
That is ethical, and that it's fact checking. It's for clarity, and that is common, especially with reporters. That is like, hey, I'm going to show you a little snippet, or I want to run this quote by you to make sure I got what you were saying correct.
Yeah, and what's funny is, had I seen the article, I would have asked her to change a couple of things, and she wouldn't have, and that would have put her in an awkward situation. And because I would have just been like, oh, I'd rather it not, be like that. and see that's why.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nothing
Sure.
bad. I was just like, oh, this could be misunderstood. You know,
Or was it the line where she said, Jamie Ivey, who wouldn't even pick up her neighbors in a duck boat?
that was in there, and I was like, please.
I know, it's like, why would you even bring that up?
And
I don't even have a duck boat.
in a classic Jamie Ivey move.
who outwardly claims to care about children and family is the owner of several extremely dangerous boat toys in her garage, including one that looks like a roulette wheel from Vegas. What is she doing with them?
Yeah. I would have
It's a
definitely asked her to take
fair
that out.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, man, that's weird. That's weird.
It's a weird
news.
story. Yeah.
You know, Katie Couric, it dawned on me that Katie Couric during this stuff about, this book promotion and stuff, I realized I watched the morning show on Apple TV Plus, and I realized that Jennifer Aniston plays specifically Katie Couric's role.
Basically,
and
Katie Couric.
in the new season, she went away and wrote a Scorched Earth book and everything. So I'm I'm wondering how much they are truly paralleling Katie Couric and Matt Lauer,
I mean, Katie Couric openly concedes in the book to bullying her colleagues, especially younger ones. Like
which Jennifer Aniston's character does too. Yeah.
She was a toxic bully to people who, she was assigned to mentor. She concedes that in the book, and it's, the other thing, well, we don't have to dwell on it, but like the other thing, right now in the country, there's a lot, one of the big issues that we're dealing with is a distrust in the media and a distrust in traditional sources of information, right? People like Katie Couric should be deeply ashamed for taking part in that distrust, because now when it comes to issues of, public safety, this gives them reason to be skeptical, even if that the nature of their skepticism is unfounded, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's I would say, to your point earlier, Jamie, if you have a distrust of media sources, I understand that. And certainly there's plenty of stories you can put in your quiver to argue that. But the woman you talked to, Sarah Pulliam-Bailey, who we've worked with at Relevant a couple of times, is an excellent reporter who
she was phenomenal to work with.
I trust to get stories right. And if you're looking for good people who are reporting on religion, which is Sarah's beat over there at the Washington Post, I have only good things to say about her coverage, which is extremely fair towards religion and not always what people want to hear necessarily, but always very, very factual and really exemplary in her conduct. So that's a good follow for people who are interested in knowing a little more about how religion is operating in America.
She did run that hit piece on me when I sank my duck boat, though. That was tough.
Guys,
it was
listen.
fair. That was the facts that happened.
I need a duck boat right now. My son is texting me and he's like, I can't cross. It's too high. And I'm like, don't go. But I got to go to school. But if I had a duck boat, I could get my son to school right now.
Well, if Cameron still had his boat, he'd zip right down there.
Have you thought about maybe installing a zip line across
that
area? Like
no,
from
but
tree to tree?
I'm going to ask why my $12 a month HOA money is not going towards a bridge. I mean, come on, people.
Or a community duck boat, or just one that you check out like a library. Like my neighborhood has those little red libraries.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys see those around neighborhoods. You give a book, you take a book. Just have like community duck boat. Just leave
it's like
the keys.
The scooters. It's the scooters thing.
It's
that
a
line
lime.
the
It's a
cities.
lime. Yeah.
You just leave it. You take it, leave it. Yeah. Just swipe.
lime some jet skis out there.
We got it, guys.
Well, there's a lot more happening. Go follow Relevant on all the socials. Check out relevantmagazine.com. Every day we are covering faith, culture, justice, all the good stuff. There you go. Thanks, Tyler. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's Need to Breathe.
Falling into you. Where have you been my whole life? Falling into you. Won't you kiss me goodnight? Night. You know I love you too. I do. I feel it too. I do. I want it to be true.
You're listening to Neptune. The song is Strawberry Lemonade. Well, our guest today is Need to Breathe. The Christian rock band has been busy since we last spoke with them. They recently dropped their 8th album, Into the Mystery, and have been touring throughout the U.S. And they're gearing up to release a documentary about their creation process for their new album. We sat down with the band to discuss how the last year of life has shifted their artistry and what's next. Here's our conversation with Need to Breathe.
You know, Into the Mystery, the record really is about one, a lot of lessons I've been trying to learn personally, you know, about how to deal with the anxiety that I've always kind of just stayed busy enough to ignore, you know. I think a lot of people probably felt that way in the pandemic. It was like a house of mirrors a little bit, you know, so a lot of the songs are about that, grappling with, you know, how do I love other people? I grew up conservative, Christian, you know, preacher dad, the whole thing. And, you know, the way I interpreted it at the time, not the way they meant it to be, was that, you know, they loved me as long as I did these things. You know, I stayed within this window or this road or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's a real challenging thing to think about now that I have kids, to be like, man, to take my expectations off of them and even my wife and those kind of things. So I was really grappling with that, I think.
Life is crazy sometimes. Just cause you got it by the light don't mean you'll make it every time. So why don't we try?
Unfortunately, the older I get, the more I feel like we're such a product of our environment in so many ways. You know, so many of our views are a reaction to another view that happened before. And I think my parents, you know, the 80s, was just like a crazy time for a conservative Christian. You know, it was like such a rebellious turn, or not a reaction turn to what was happening on in the world. And so it just became super rigid, rule following, and very like team, you know, like we're USA and all that stuff, you know. And I just think, look back at that time, I have a lot of grace for parents during that time, because I feel like most of them are not like that now. And the only way I can really explain that is, you know what I mean? They just were in a time where they were like holding on for dear life, and that's how they did it. So, it wasn't effective. You know, I've had this conversation with my parents. Obviously, it's not effective to try to control your kids, and they're going to, especially me, somebody who's our kind of rebellious character, will do the opposite. So, I mean, we tell one habit we've gotten into with our kids, and I have no idea if this is going to help or like you totally ruin them. But, you know, it's just saying like that, tell them every day, like, I love you no matter what you do. And, you know, we have this little thing. We spent a little time a couple years ago making a mission statement for our family, which is totally not my personality. But I was like, let's have some reminders, like what's at the top of this list, you know, the things that are important. And that was it. It was like, man, we really need to figure out how to love each other, you know, beyond just the consequences.
So you have this new documentary, this Into the Mystery, which involves camera crew being on you and the band for pretty much all day, over and over, and that would I don't know about you, but that would give me a lot of anxiety. How does that feel? What sort of pressure does that put on you guys as a band?
Yeah, I mean, we've always had a rule like that. We're not going to do another documentary because we'll lose a member. It's like the Wilco thing or whatever. It's like every documentary, like, whoa, this is tragic. And I think there is an added pressure to the cameras and some of those situations. And we've certainly felt that before. But for whatever reason, we're just really in a good space with this. We didn't put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We kind of went in there and was like, look, we're going to try to do a song a day. We didn't have a producer, just had an engineer in the house with us. So it was a really sweet time. And I think honestly, our reaction was like, we're so glad someone's capturing this. You know, I don't know how else to say it, but the feeling was like, we're just incredibly thankful. You know, obviously if this pandemic doesn't happen, we don't make this record. I don't write those songs. You know, we don't pick a house to quarantine in and all that. And it really felt like that days into that process, just being like, man, we have no control of any of this. This is just a sweet moment. You know, like we're really along for the ride. And so we verbalized that almost daily when we were there. Just like, can you believe this? Look, and we kept being like, something bad has got to happen, but it never did. I'm ready for people to see it for sure.
I don't need silver linings. I don't need so much more. I just need room to be wrong sometimes. That's all I'm hoping for. I feel like we could find it.
You think you're getting better at music, obviously, as you go, and you are in so many ways. But the thing I'm just, when I look back at early stuff of us on stage, the raw emotion and energy is just like, that always connects still to me. I remember feeling and thinking that like the show is the end all of all shows, even if there's 200 people in that place. Yeah. There's just something about that is just, that we try to do now too. But I think every time I look back at our band, I always admire that part. I'm like, man, these dudes have no idea what they're doing, but they're just as brash and, they're just dumb enough to believe that this works and that people can buy in and all that. You know what I mean? And that's a really, I don't know. That's what I take away anyway when I look back.
So as you're looking ahead, what do you feel like is what would you like next for Needtobreathe? Is there anything you'd like the band to accomplish, or you personally would like to accomplish that you haven't done yet? Yeah,
it's probably multifaceted. I mean, one is I really, the culture of our band and organization, all the people that work for us, like that's something I really take very, very seriously now. So seeing that like be healthy for an extended period of time would just be very rewarding to me. I think you get that advice from other artists, and that's, if it's great backstage, it's great. And that's kind of what one of our goals is. And the other one is I love arenas. We're playing 4 or 5, I think, on this tour. And it's not like, I like going to see shows at both at amphitheaters and arenas and all that, but I just think our band is suited to use that space creatively. So the only reason we've always liked to play bigger places or have more people at the show really is because it's like it opens up the artistic, thing wide open. And that's really fun to me. So I'd love to see that. And in terms of records, I mean, one thing we're just chasing now is being able to pivot. We just feel like the world has changed in terms of record cycles and all that. What the fire in my belly is really from this idea of like, if I have an idea tomorrow or a great song, we can turn around and put it out the next day. Like we have our organizations ready to roll in that way. There's a lot of trust there, which that's so valuable. I'm really inspired by that.
That was Needtobreathe. You can hear a lot more from them in the fall issue of Relevant Magazine. It's available now. You can go to relevantmagazine.com, click on the magazine tab, and it is available ad-free, thanks to our friends at UHSM. Go check it out. Okay, up next, oh boy, it's your editorial question of the week. You're listening to Spill Tab and Johnny. The song is Grade A, which is what I would give this podcast. Okay, it's time for your feedback. Last Friday, we got 2 a week now. I got to keep it in track. Last Friday, we got talking about hell houses. Tis the season to scare your friends into believing in Jesus. So we got talking about our childhood hell house church scare factory experiences, and we asked you about yours. You hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast and answered the other places that we asked it as well on social, and there's some good ones. Here's a few of our favorite replies.
Well, Ryan says that in first grade,
that's a little early.
You wonder why there's so much like religious trauma in evangelicalism,
right?
he prefaced it. We asked a question about a violent hell house, and he said, well, in first grade, here's something that scarred me for life.
Oh my gosh.
He said he went to their church's hell house. Mind you, this person was like, what, 6 years old? I don't know what
somewhere around there.
Yeah. A dude came at me with a circular saw. I still get nervous when I use one for home improvement projects. After years of using a reciprocating saw instead. That was my first and last Hell House experience. Well, yeah, who runs out a first grader with a saw? What kind of psycho church? Like, hey, did you guys hear the good news of Jesus Christ? No? How about this? Like, good Lord. Like, the most traumatic thing that happened to me in first grade was my happy face got turned over on the chalkboard for talking about the Scholastic Book Fair catalog too long. Like, that should be the most traumatic thing that happens to a first grader, not a lunatic pastor on a power trip with a power tool.
Leah Esterly was in it. There's a bunch of these replies of people who were one of the performers, because we were talking about that too. Leah says that she played the girl who got pregnant out of wedlock and died in a house fire with her live-in boyfriend. Here's the twist. She goes to heaven. He did not.
Oh my gosh.
I don't understand the theology in that, but you know.
But was it just a
so if you do
coincidental?
this, you got a 50-50 shot at still being all right.
But I don't understand, like, so is the message here, if there is a unwanted or premarital pregnancy, your home is at risk for a house fire? Like, what is the ultimate
It was just
cause and
everything
effect.
that could go wrong in her life was happening.
My whole thing is, like, if you want to tell someone the dangers about unprotected premarital sex, I would not say, well, your chances of a house fire don't technically increase, but I want to show you what it would be like to burn alive.
Well, Jesse, clearly people who do that are careless. They're not careful people, and they leave the burner on.
You're not going to leave it. I left my drugstore pregnancy test next to a bunch of lit candles, and next thing you know,
we're going to daisy chain a bunch of extension cords. They just live loose. You know what I mean?
Next thing you know, I'm at the pearly gates, and guess who's not with me? My baby daddy. So you figure it out.
I meant to share the gospel with him, but I kept putting it off because I'm so irresponsible.
I kept putting it off because I got on a candle kick and I started lighting them up all over the house. And
Cody Bull said this. When I was in high school, we went to a hell house, and one of the actor girls who was being dragged into hell was slammed down so hard she broke her ankle. She was rolled out of hell in a stretcher. Poor girl.
Slammed so hard. What sort of hell house? What did they pile drive her into hell?
I don't know what was happening, but at least she got rolled out of hell.
But
this
guys,
one
in fairness, don't you remember that story where Jesus and the apostles came into Samaria, and at first the crowd wasn't receptive, and then the apostle James chased people around with the circular saw? You don't remember that one? You remember that story? It was the revival broke out.
You're really bothered by that.
I love it. Kristen said, she said the second to last room was the Satan worship / demon possession room, because that's something that all young minds need to be prepared to face as part of their day-to-day experience walking around in the U.S. She said, my name is Kristen, and so was the character in the skit, who gets possessed by a demon. It was terrifying. In the last room, they talked about how we have to fight for our freedom and flee from temptation. It involved a clip of the Braveheart movie where Mel Gibson shouts freedom. This is just like ticking the boxes of 90s white evangelicalism. You're going down the list. You got Braveheart, you got demon possession, and of course you have Kristen. The very next room is where you fill out a form to commit your life to Jesus, and there are pastors to pray for you. I had nightmares for weeks. Other rooms included self-harm, women getting drugged at parties and then taking advantage of sexually, domestic abuse. I was in seventh grade. Oh my gosh. This is which isn't that unusual, I know, but it doesn't seem that weird at the time. It's only looking back on it now. They're like, what were those people thinking?
Well, they're probably like, at least they're not in first grade. I mean, we can get them now. They're in seventh grade.
The thing that is crazy to think about is these were meant for the youth. I mean, it's it was meant as a Halloween youth alternative to help them find Christ. I mean, because Jorge de la Cruz said, after the Hell House, our youth pastor got in a real coffin wearing a black suit and then did a funeral service followed by an altar call. But it's the youth pastor. I mean, it's meant for the kids. So it's like all these horribly graphic things are probably these kids' first exposure to that type of trauma.
Listen, the danger is real. I mean, we all know that story about that kid. We all had that kid in church who was watching The Simpsons that their parents told them not to, and they found it so hilarious and were so compelled that they didn't realize their house was on fire, and many people were burned badly, third degree all over. If only they hadn't been watching The Simpsons, I think that the neighbor's townhouse with the pregnant woman and boyfriend, I think they would have been just fine. Turned out next door they're watching The Simpsons. Now it all comes together. What a tangle web the devil weaves.
Brendan Spencer had a positive SBC experience. He said, surprisingly, he's only been a part of what he can describe as a hope house. He said younger members took over the idea and had rooms with different Bible stories depicted instead of scaring people. Nice change of pace, an inverse hell house. That makes sense.
I like that. Look at those little kids.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Making things right.
And then Jesse comes out, then the youth pastor comes out with a circular saw.
After having performed his own funeral at Jorge's church.
It's a lot of mixed messages here. I'm not really sure what we should be afraid of here. Now, the quick question. Are you not running that circular saw to the GFCI? Like, how did the house fire start? Okay, what kind of project you working on down there?
Oh my God!
A lot of dangers that Christians need to be aware of, whether they're connected to the supernatural or not. There's basic power tool safety that we got a whole room about. So
the unwed pregnant couple who are living together, they don't think things through. So they start these projects using tools that they haven't really learned how to master. That's what you're saying. That's how the fire starts.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows at this point? For all we know, a drunk driver coming back from prom hit the transformer outside, and that sparked the fire. All we know was alcohol, a circular saw, and maybe the Simpsons were involved. And we better just purge it all, because we don't know which one is ultimately responsible. Well, I got this piece of paper you can fill out, and we can just alleviate these fears right now.
Yeah, takes everything away. Just sign this paper.
Oh, somebody's got to read Mike Murphy's.
I'm going to read it. I've got to hear it.
It's on the first page, and we'll end it with this.
Wild. All right. This is bleak. Put the kids to bed before you read that. All right.
Again, this is intended for youth. All right. So,
yeah, these are kids. Yeah, but I hope kids are listening to this. So Mike Murphy says, I went to a hell house in the late 90s or early aughts. The last room of the youth drama team was doing was the skit Choices. A girl in an angel costume showed the deceased character a room with buttons. Each button was a scene from their life. This is a very elaborate production here. Mm-hmm. Each scene showed the deceased character making good choices. The last button is him saying no to the prayer of salvation. The skit ends with him going to hell yelling, "But I was a good person," to the angels who turn away. So that's what you leave the kids with on Halloween. They at least they didn't go watch like an R-rated movie or something.
I think we should take a moment.
Feeling.
I think we should take a moment in case anyone is wondering what it means to be a follower of Jesus. We should let them know it is not what you have just heard in the last 10 minutes, okay? I think we need to talk about the truth of the gospel. I'm so nervous for these people.
I'm glad they're listening to the Relevant podcast.
There's a lot more where that came from. If you are morbidly curious, go check out the replies at the Relevant Podcast Twitter account. Holy cow. Okay. So now it's time for this week's
editorial question of the week.
Okay, well, completely unrelated to the Halloween theming, we got talking about water mishaps today. I think we've all had water mishaps. I don't know if the water happened to your street, or you sank your boat, or you flew on a thing and got 30 feet off the ground and felt and cracked your ribs. I don't know. But we've all had water mishaps, it seems like. So that's what we want to know. This week's question of the week is, tell us your most memorable water mishap. Hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast, or you can answer the questions where we post it on the other socials as well. We'll read our favorites next week.
And I know we're running late in time here, but if I just want to tell listeners, if they're ever having a bad day, look, Google or go to YouTube and type in boat ramp fail. Okay. If you're having a bad day, watching boat ramp compilations of like half hours of boat ramp fails where people freak out because they accidentally sinking their own boats after a leisurely day on the water, nothing lightens the mood like that. Okay.
I will tell you that there is no more source of stress or pride, depending on how you launch your boat at the ramp. Everybody's watching you. It's like you're teeing off at a busy golf course. You know, everybody's watching you. They're all judging you. They're waiting for you to mess up so they can laugh at you. And then you nail it. Ooh, all right. He knows what he's doing. You feel really good about yourself. But if you have to be that guy who's like, whatever, you are mocked relentlessly with judgy eyes. They don't say it out loud, but judgy eyes. Very stressful. All right. Hit us up, Relevant Podcast. Before we wrap up, I want to thank Needtobreathe for joining us today. Head over to relevantmagazine.com for more of our conversation with the band. You can check it out in the fall issue of the magazine. The digital magazine is available for free and ad-free thanks to UHSM. Go check it out. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's the best way to keep up with what's new, what we're putting out every day. And if you follow us on the Relevant Podcast Twitter account, in addition to the Relevant one, you can interact with the editorial question of the week and submit questions to the cast that we may tackle on upcoming episodes. Hit us up on all the socials. We're doing a lot of stuff and we don't want you to miss any of it. Also, make sure to submit your answers to the editorial question of the week on the Relevant Podcast Twitter account or any of our socials where we've posted it. If social media is not your thing, but you want to stay in touch with what we're doing every day, right there on the relevantmagazine.com homepage, you can sign up for our daily newsletter where we bring you the top 5 trending stories at Relevant every morning. Make sure to sign up so you don't miss a thing. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Jamie Ivey.
And I'm Tyler Huckabee.
For Derek Miner, we will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
Keep your hands inside the duck boat, everyone.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.